Millions of years ago, some bacteria infected the stomachs of your ancestors. But instead of getting purged like the others, they instead cut a deal. And now you have your gut microbiome. And it's not just us, pretty much every multicellular organism has a gut microbiome. From elephants, to dogs, to worms, and even to plankton. A team of microscopic helpers called symbionts. Or symbiotes, like, you know. Except they're smaller and, in my opinion, equally cool. They evolved alongside, well, pretty much everything, into a teeny tiny pit crew that you can't live without. So yeah, teamwork is integral to multicellular life, and yet, one insect ditched its symbiont and then not only survived, but became one of the most successful pests on the planet, which seems to flip off a million years of evolution and collaboration. To make matters even more confusing, only soldiers and males of the species lacked the symbiont, while the females kept theirs. So what's this evolution-defying miracle insect? Well, it's an aphid. Colophina arma. This adorable little guy can be found in farms and gardens all around the world. And though it may look like a friend, it's actually one of the most despised pests on the planet. Aphids suck out the sap of plants like tiny vampires using their face straws, or stylets. Imagine having 1,000 mosquitoes feeding on you 24/7 for a week straight. A whole colony of these things can quickly kill a plant by stealing all the sugars it needs to survive. And that's partly why we keep ladybugs around. Ladybugs, and some fly larvae, are natural predators of aphids. So they serve as a sort of natural pesticide. However, refusing to be taken out by a polka dot clown bug and some newborn worms, the aphids developed soldiers, a class of absolute units with giant limbs and shiv-like stylets to grab and stab their enemies. They're like the scariest bouncers ever.
Oh yeah, this is easy.
Almost too easy.
But yeah, it's fine. Let's keep going. What was that?
And it doesn't stop there. Some species of aphids even have ant bodyguards. Ants protect herds of aphids from predators, and in return, aphids let them feed on the sweet juices they secrete. So yeah, it's kind of like the ultimate cruelty-free farming setup. Is that over? Is that it? So yeah, you'd be right to think that aphids are kind of unstoppable. But they do have a weakness, and that is the very sap they drain from the plants. You see, this sap has a problem. It's rich in sugars, but it's poor in pretty much everything else. Which means, like literally every multicellular organism, they do in fact need symbiotic bacteria to keep living inside them as a sort of living nutrient supplement provider. In particular, for amino acids and vitamins. Female aphid embryos will swallow up the symbiont while still developing in the womb, and then keep them in a specialized organ until adulthood. So it was assumed that all aphids needed these symbionts. Makes perfect sense, right? Well, no. Scientists were shocked to find no signs of the symbiont in two groups: soldiers and males. Which opens up a whole new mystery as to why only them and not females, and how they're even alive in the first place. Under a microscope, both males and soldiers were clearly lacking something. That signature organ that houses symbiotic bacteria in females just wasn't there. Molecular analysis also provided hints. They used probes to highlight the presence or absence of symbiotic proteins. Kinda like how a UV light in a cheap hotel can tell you which pillows you really don't want to use. As expected, there were no symbiont proteins in males and soldiers. Not a single suspiciously shaped stain to suggest that the microbes were ever there. So one explanation then emerged. Unexpected, but not implausible. Maybe males and soldiers don't have symbionts because they don't even need to feed. Instead of relying on symbionts for nutrition, they're born with all the nutrients they need and live their entire lives in starvation mode. Observations of their feeding stylets back this up. They were short and kinda dinky compared to the stylets of females, suggesting that they weren't really built for feeding. We don't know for sure why males and soldiers don't have the symbiont while females do, but there are two theories. Theory A. No roommates. The aphid chooses not to take up the symbiont. Think about it. If you don't need roommates to chip in for rent, then why have roommates at all? They may be friendly now, but you don't want to risk them turning harmful inside your own body. Or risk them leaving moldy dishes, burning the oven, leaving out the garbage, not cleaning the bath. Theory B, bad real estate. The symbiont chooses not to infect male and soldier embryos. Why pick a house that doesn't let you spread your genes? Remember that symbionts are passed down maternally, and soldiers don't reproduce. So, infecting a male or soldier would be a genetic dead end. Until we have more information, we won't know which of the two it really is. So all this seems to show that symbiosis and teamwork aren't as essential as we thought. Except that's still not the case, because the loss of the symbiont is made up for with teamwork across the colony. Aphids, like ants and bees, are masters of division of labor. There are many roles to fill in the colony and each one needs the other. You have soldiers for defense, nymphs that give birth to clones, and winged adults for expansion to other plants and sexual reproduction. So males and soldiers haven't cheated evolution. Instead, they've chosen the most efficient lifestyle that would benefit the colony as a whole. And this speaks to all of nature. There is a misconception that survival is all about competition. Survival of the fittest only means the toughest survive. But the truth is that prosperity comes from collaboration. This is proven time and time again. Aphids, bees, worms, and ants are only successful because of cooperation. Corals only thrive thanks to the bacteria and algae growing on them. You yourself are made of billions of individual cells that long ago gave up their free living lives to work together, producing something bigger than the sum of their parts. In fact, when your cells revolt and see every cell for themselves, that's when you get cancer. So really, survival of the fittest does not select for the toughest or most self-sufficient, it selects for the most cooperative. Even if that means sacrificing a source of nutrition in the form of a symbiont for the betterment of the colony.